Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Gather Mapmaker Demos. Today I'm going to be showing how to set up a university campus with our new campus map. So just a quick intro to the mapmaker for those who haven't seen it before. The way that maps work is you have a background. So for example, this background, and that's the base image. And then you can add all these different things like special effects. Like you can say that walls are impassable, can't be walked through. You can set spawn points throughout the room, which is where people start out. And you can place objects in the room like whiteboards and all kinds of stuff. So I'll show these off as we get to them, but that's the general idea. Okay, so starting from scratch, let's create a university. So we'll copy a template. And the template that we're after is UniQuad, which is the entry point for our university. I'm going to name mine MIT and just click copy. So now it'll take a little bit because it's copying like 15 different maps that are all linked together by portals. All right, there we go. So let's first just check out what we've copied. So the university quad is the entry point. So here it is, MIT UniQuad. So we'll import this from the database, and this is what it looks like. You can see right off the bat a few interesting things. So there's the map background, of course, but then the red is obviously impassable. The green are the spawn points. Blue are portals to other maps. So for example, this one goes to Beach North. This one goes to Beach South. This one goes to the common area. These ones go to little study rooms. These ones go to a dorm. So let's just check out what this map looks like so we can see what's going on. All right, here we are. The study rooms all look like this. They have different colored carpets, but that's pretty much it. The dorm looks like this, modeled after Next House at MIT. And it even has a few rooms. So for example, this one's a single, just like a regular dorm. And we can go out the other door. Oh, and there's some fun things like poker tables, but we'll talk about that later. So we can go out, and then we can check out the common area over here. So this is like a big common room, and this one's so huge. Let me just show you the mini map of it. So there are some big study spaces, some small study spaces, and just like a bunch of tables and stuff. So these are like group work areas that are private space. Or just like places to hang out and chat. There are also smaller study rooms, just like for a couple people to work together or for one person to work quietly, something like that. All kinds of good stuff in here. So, and then of course there are doorways to classrooms, and this is what we're going to fill in. So like right now these doors don't lead anywhere, but soon we will attach more rooms to them. So the first thing that we're going to do is let's just see how to make an example room and attach it to this one. So going back to the mapmaker, let's import the common area. We're going to branch all of the classrooms off of that. So we can import this, and there we go. There's the map with all of the stuff. These numbers are private spaces, so that's what happens if you go into spaces mode. You can remove things by shift clicking, so I can make that not a private space anymore. Again, where private spaces are just areas where you're connected to everyone else who's standing on the same number. So anyone on this 21 carpet is connected to everyone else on the 21 carpet, and no one who's not on the 21 carpet. Starting to how those work, you can see there are spawn points in the middle, which doesn't matter so much for this room because it's not the entry point. The quad is the entry room. And here we can see portals back out to the quad. So we've got all kinds of good stuff in here. Okay, so first let's just add a basic classroom up here, L001. So first thing we want to do is copy another template. We'll do the university recitation one. I'll just name it MIT again for convention. So we copied that, okay, and then going into another mapmaker tab, it'll just be easier to look at them both side by side. So if we go to the one that we just copied, here it is. Here's the small classroom. And this, by default, has no portals in it because we don't know where we're going to attach it. But it does have an interesting thing, which is the podium feature. And I'll talk about that in a minute. The other notable thing about this map is that these chairs and everything can be rearranged. So for example, if you go into asset mode, you can shift click on these chairs to move them. And say you don't want any chairs, say you would rather have just like one study space in this corner, we can go into the asset picker here and choose like a small collaboration thing right there. And then we can put another one right here, for example. So this could be the room layout if it's like a small seminar style where you have 2 discussion groups, maybe something like that. And of course we could add private spaces around these tables, etc. But I don't want to do that. I'll just show off the regular basic map. So I'm going to re-import this, and here we are back again. And let's link it up with portals to the main room. So what we need to do is we need to see where in the main room do we want to go. If this is going to be room L001, then we'll put a portal right here. We're going to have a portal that comes out right here. So looking at the bottom right of my screen, I can see that this is XY 5913. So I can put a portal right here in the doorway. It's going to go to 5913 before I forget. And we want this to go to MIT Uni Common. So great, now we have a portal, goes to MIT Uni Common 5913. And we can put another portal in this room, which links to our classroom. So for this one, we'll say, okay, the location we want to go to is 1721. So we can go here, we can put a portal. This one is going to go to the recitation room at 1721. Okay, cool. So if I export this map now, this will overwrite the previous common room, which is good. So now it has that portal, and then we want to export this one to overwrite the previous recitation room, because now we have this portal. So great, those are set up. The map refreshed automatically, and let's go over and check it out. Okay, so now if we walk into this doorway, it teleports us into this room, which is exactly how we have it set up with the chairs. There's the podium, so when you step on this, everyone in the entire room can see you. There's no one else here right now, but that's okay. I also have this room set up by default to show a course website. So the example website right now is one of my favorite MIT classes, but it's not loading very quickly. And anyways, you want to replace it with your own, oh, here it is, 6034, artificial intelligence. So you probably want to replace this with your own. So let me go back into the mapmaker and show how to do that. So we go into object mode. This is the invisible object, which is that course description thing. So if we remove that and we put in instead, we want the interactable iframe, which is what that was. It was just showing an arbitrary website. We can keep the activation distance at 3. That's fine. It's blank by default, which means it doesn't show anything. And we'll just show gather.town, but you'll want to put your actual course website. So now if we export this, we can update. This will automatically refresh for us. And here we go. So now we can see it has gather instead of the previous course website. So that's great. And our portal back to the main room works just fine. Fantastic. Okay, so we have set up the common area map also to be pretty customizable. So for example, if you want to rename all of these rooms, you just go into asset mode. You can remove by shift clicking, and then you can put your own text. So if I wanted to call this room M001 instead for some reason, I can change the font size, the offsets, and the font and everything. So I can create this, and it's like a little bit misaligned. So I can try again. M001, increase the Y offset some. It was 30 last time, so let's try 36. We can create that. Great, close enough. If you're renumbering them all, you can just do them the same way each time. But yeah, so that is how you can renumber. And I'm gonna re-import this one because I don't want to keep those changes. So we'll re-import the common, and then let's set up another room. So all of these doors can be added and removed. So another example is like if you don't want this many classrooms, you can just take them out. So in asset mode, just shift click on this door and it disappears. You can remove the label, and then you can put in impassable mode, fill in the wall right there, and then there's no extra room. So we'll say we want to save this change, just export it again. Great. And now let's show off two more maps. So another template that we have is a lecture room. So we can copy this. Oh, whoops, we need to type in the name. Then we can copy this. Great. And let's import it in our other tab. So import. Cool. All right, so this is a much larger lecture room. We can see right off the bat there's a podium in here. That's what this orange highlight means for spotlight mode. So that's great. And then there's also this object in the middle, which has like a Zoom link in it, and I'll show you how to set that up as well. The first thing we need to do is set up portals. So if this is going to be room L002, then we want to make a portal that goes to 5313 on this map. So we'll go into portal mode right here, 5313, and we want to go to the University Common. Great. And let's go ahead and export this just for now. And then we can go over to the Common, and we want to go to space 3539 here. So we'll be in portal mode, go to 3539 in the lecture hall. Great. And we'll export this one. And then we can go check it out. Okay, so let's go in here. All right, so this is an example of a giant lecture. So right now, with Podium, Gather can only support up to about 100 people if there's one person broadcasting to the rest of the room. So for lectures of more than 100 people, or lectures where you just want to use Zoom because they've spent a lot more time optimizing video than we have, you can put in an object in this room, which when you press X prompts you to join a Zoom call. And so if you click on this, it will disable your audio and video in Gather until you come back, and you'll be able to just like jump into the Zoom lecture. So this is obviously just an example room. It never has anyone in it, it never has anyone in it. So we want to replace this with our own Zoom link for our class. So we'll go into object mode. We will remove that tile and start a new one with external call integration. We're going to set the distance threshold to 50, just so that it covers the entire room. This is how close people need to be able to interact with that object. We can change the prompt to say, press X to enter WebEx if we wanted to. And then we can change the link to the call to like whatever your class is. So I'll just put it in zoom.us. But we can create that object, and now if we export this again, we will see our new Zoom link in here. So you can use whatever call you want, or whatever external call integration you want. People can press X, they'll go to this link, it disables their video and audio, and then they can participate in the lecture or whatever, and come back to this room, see their peers, talk to them after the lecture. Maybe the professor is standing up in the front, and they can like answer questions after lecture. People can just walk up to them and talk, or students can just leave back to the common area, go work on some problem sets together or something like that, or hang out in one of these group areas between classes. So great. So we've got a small recitation or seminar style room. We've got a big lecture hall. Let's show adding an entire room from scratch down at the bottom, which can be like lab or office hours. So let's put it down here right in the middle. So let's go back to this map, and what we want to do next is we're going to copy the Uni Lab template. So I'll name it MIT again. Okay, so that's been copied, and let's just import it so we can see what it looks like. MIT Uni Lab. Okay, so here you can see there's a lot more going on than in the other classrooms. So we've got a bunch of private workspaces, so people can do group work, for example. But then there's also a podium. So the instructor can step on this tile. They can broadcast to the entire room, even people who are like doing group work in these spaces, and say whatever it is to like direct everybody to move on to the next thing or whatever. We have whiteboards in the spaces with whiteboards. So right here, this is a whiteboard object. This is a whiteboard object. This is a whiteboard object, and it's a shared whiteboard. So I'll show this off in a moment. But this is the general room layout. We've got a bunch of study spaces, and let's go ahead and link it up with the main map. So we're going to need a portal from the common area to this spot, which is 2313. So let's make a doorway right here, and we'll go into asset mode, put down a door up, so door 1 wide down right here. Great. Gonna make this tile back here impassable, and then we will go into portal mode, drop a portal right there. Well, I don't remember the coordinates. It was 2313. So 2313, and we are going to the lab map. So we can create this. Great. Now there's a portal. Let's export this again so that we have it. And then go back over here, and we need to add a portal back to 4576. So we'll go into portal mode, 4576 to the University Common. Great. And as always, I can shift click to remove and add things. So if I messed up this portal, I can just remove it, click again, send it to a different map, send it to different coordinates, something like that. Now let's export here. Great. And see what this looks like. Okay, so now we have a doorway in our main map, and if we walk through it, we end up in this lab space. So that's great. There's the podium here, which is spotlighted. We can walk back out the doorway. That's always important. And then we can check out one of these group study spaces. So this is a private space, and it has a shared whiteboard. So if we press X for the shared whiteboard, we can draw whatever we want, change colors, basic whiteboard functionality. Pretty good stuff. You can add text. Hello. So, and it'll show up. You can change the font size if we want. Draw some more. Change the colors. Freehand drawing. You can do straight lines. Quite useful. I can't draw straight lines. Great. And so that's our shared whiteboard. And if we go back to this whiteboard, we can see that it's still the same. But if we go to this whiteboard down here, we can see that it's a new whiteboard, also shared. So great. And these ones are just like regular private spaces. These ones also have whiteboards. And each whiteboard is going to be unique. It's generated based on the room. So that's all good to have. Great, so we have this lab room. We have it attached to the main area via this doorway. And that's pretty much it. So if you want more rooms, you can always copy a template again. And if you want another lab room, you could say MIT, MIT 2 Unilab. You can have as many as you want. Just keep making copies. And you can add them wherever you want along this common area. You could add them to the outside. Lots of flexibility here, and we'll be adding more templates as we go. But for now, this is how you would do it. Hope that helps.